Hello and welcome to Streetscape Update. I'm Kim Best, your host, and we're dedicated to keeping you informed on Goldsboro's news and activities. Do you know what's happening in your city? Well, today I'll talk with Meg Granate, and she is from the Downtown Goldsboro Development Corporation, and she is the promotions coordinator. I'll also speak with Josh Price from Daniels & Daniels Construction. He is a construction project manager, and he'll give us updates on where we are with our Streetscape project. This morning I'd like to welcome Josh Price, who is the project manager with Daniels & Daniels Construction, to give us some updates on the Streetscape project. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
So we have much activity going on out front?
We do. We're starting to turn it back into a street. Seeing a lot of the sidewalks are going in, the bands, the concrete decorative banding, the brickwork is all in place. We are continuing on with the irrigation and the landscape lighting, which is going to be ongoing from now to the end of the project, but things are really starting to come together.
Yeah, as I walk by and come in and out of work, I walk by and see every day how much different it looks, how much the improvement is coming along, and your team is out there working strong and hard every day.
We are. We've been really making a push the last couple weeks. We had the circle back open to traffic, and technically we were finished. There were a few aesthetic things that needed to be wrapped up, and we were able to wrap those up this past week. Put in a product that's a stamped asphalt in the medians and in the circle around the rotary, and it's a decorative product, kind of gives the look of a brick paver, but without actually having to put in a brick paver.
And that is over in the traffic circle?
That is.
Okay.
We have it in the medians, in the two traffic islands, and around the circle.
Is that a process that we'll use down the block of City Hall, in front of City Hall as well?
No, the actual pavers, there will actually be brick pavers in front of City Hall, and that work is going to start this week. There's several patterns and colors. It's really going to give a lot of pop to the block.
Okay, so that'll be all the way down the entire block from Ash to Mulberry.
You've got it.
Okay. Well, tell us about the Center Plaza area. We've seen a lot of work going on there, and wow, it looks a whole lot different.
You've got it. Well, a major part of this project, besides widening the sidewalks and the infrastructure improvements, was to give the center median, make it a larger area and a gathering area. So when people want to have functions or events downtown, it gives them a place to hold those. And,
so it can be like a central location.
You've got it. And the main focal point of that is the plaza right in front of City Hall. We've put in some seat walls and some places to make it more of a gathering spot than just a place to pass through.
Okay, great. So we've got that Center Plaza. Now on either side of the Center Plaza, I believe there'll be trees that'll be planted. Can you tell us a little bit about those and when we can look forward to seeing that?
I sure can. We're going to be planting oaks in the centerpiece. Trees called a willow zelkova that are going to go in down the sidewalks.
Okay.
And we'll start to see trees go in about a week.
Oh, wow.
That's exciting.
It is, it is. Well, it's sort of, we know that we're coming to a close now. How about the deadline? Are we still on task with that?
We are. We are still on schedule for November the 9th, and that's with a week's worth of cleanup and inspections and punch lists to get everything through. We are shooting to have the street paved by the end of the month. By Halloween, we should have all the asphalt down, start striping it, and getting it ready to open back up.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. So we're down here at the end of the process now.
We are. We're really getting in the short rows.
Oh, absolutely. Well, tell us a little more about the infrastructure that was replaced on this one block and how it's changed the view and the processes for all the different businesses here on this one block.
Well, the major items were the water lines and the electrical. We switched over water lines to the new high-density plastic pipe that's a lifetime product. I'm sure the business owners have seen improvements in their water, and it's something that's going to be in place for a very long time, and it's going to last as long as the original lines that we pulled out. Right.
Tell us about those lines that you were pulling out. What kind of shape were they in?
They were not in very good shape. They were 50, 60 years old, and they were really starting to show their age. There were places where the lines joined each other where the old fittings had worn away, and really the only thing holding them together was the dirt that was around the pipe.
Oh my goodness.
So that was a long overdue improvement.
Right.
And I think moving forward, when the next phases of the project, that's going to be another big piece that everyone needs to be aware of, that we're really installing this to last the city and And that is really an improvement that you just don't see.
Right, right. Well, and how about the power lines? Now, they were once above.
They used to be, everything was overhead and exposed, and we've moved all the lines underground. It really gives, sight lines, it really takes away everything that was taken away from the beauty of downtown by putting it underground.
Wow, so nice and clean, open lines. You can see from one side of the block to the other. You can walk across the street, have much larger pedestrian areas for gathering and events and things like that. And our infrastructure has been replaced and is solid and sound again.
You've got it.
And our businesses are seeing a tremendous amount of improvement with that. Well, thank you, Josh. We're looking forward to what's happening in the future. We've got a few more weeks left of the project, and we'll take some pictures and make sure everybody's aware, and that'll be on our Streetscape web page as well.
You've got it.
So thank you for your update, and we'll talk to you again in 2 weeks.
All right, thank you.
Joining me now is Meg Gurnate with DGDC. She is the promotions coordinator. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I hear we have a new Center Street Plaza, which is an area in the middle of Center Street on this one block under construction that is going to be our focal point. Can you tell me a little about that?
We do. It's beautiful. It has a really nice sidewalk that runs down the center of it, and it's flanked by trees on both sides. There's also seating areas. So, you'll have shade, you'll be able to enjoy nature, and you'll be able to walk, hopefully once the project is completely finished, all down Center Street through this center median.
Oh, how nice will that be? And it's nice and wide, right?
It is, and there's plants and grass, flowers, so it's really beautiful.
Well, tell us about some potential events that can take place and how this center area can be more beneficial and can be an asset for these people holding events downtown.
We have a lot of venues downtown where people can host events, like Cornerstone Commons. Sometimes people host things in front of City Hall. So I think that the center median of the Streetscape project will be nice because it adds a little bit more beauty to downtown. And then people can also, in the future, utilize it for their own events, whether it be, if that's a spot where vendors need to be set up, or, just a spot for people with pets and children if they want to have a seat and, enjoy an ice cream cone or food, something like that. It's just another spot for people to come, sit, get out of the sunshine, relax a bit and enjoy the event.
Well, recently we had Taste of Wayne. It was the first time they had been downtown Goldsboro, and they were down on Center Street Commons. Can you give us a little bit of information about that?
Yeah, it was a great event. They had a wonderful turnout, beautiful weather, but they utilized Cornerstone Commons and then a chunk of Center Street near Cornerstone Commons. They had food vendors, they had other organizations that support the United Way. But parking was a breeze. People were able to get around downtown, and there was plenty of parking spaces for everybody. So it was a really good event, and I was so pleased with the way the community came out to support it.
Oh yes, it was. The weather was perfect, like you said, and as I went around and talked with people, I found people were so happy to be a part of it.
Oh yeah.
They were glad to be there. They were glad it was downtown, and I asked several times about parking, and that's what I continually heard was they were so pleased by how easy it was and how convenient it was to find a parking place.
People commented to me that they had no problems getting around, the work that they were doing downtown. We had parking signs up,
right?
But it was a piece of cake finding where they needed to go.
Well, we have some events coming up soon downtown. How about giving us some details on that?
We have Downtown Lights Up, and that's coming up on November 20th. And it'll be held where it usually is, right in front of City Hall along Center Street.
Ah, first event there after the new renovations.
It'll be, along, like you said, the new Streetscape renovation site. So it'll really be the community's,
kickoff,
hurrah for having the work completed, and they'll be able to enjoy the space, and it'll be beautiful because all the lights will be up.
Nice, nice. That's November 20th. Coming up, everybody needs to mark their calendars, right? Well, can you tell us about some of the businesses on our block, on this first block, where the renovations have been going on, how they feel about the changes that have been going on, relevant to the water pressure and things such as that?
We have, 4 businesses that have been affected, City Hall being one of them, but we also have Pet Village, Direct Carpet, and the Little Bank. And I had heard a comment from a woman who worked at the Little Bank, and she said, we hadn't realized how poor our water pressure was in our building because, it's all they've ever known.
Right.
Until they replaced the piping. And, after they had replaced the water pipes, they turned their water on the next day, and they could not believe the difference in water pressure just from, that change. So you know, while they have been so patient and so wonderful throughout the process, they're really, I think, seeing, you know,
The benefits.
right, not just aesthetic benefits, but also, you know, the infrastructure underground, that it needed to be replaced.
Right, and I think as we continue down Center Street, more and more businesses will appreciate that, and will be glad that we have gone through those phases. Well, tell me about discussing future phases and businesses. How are we going to engage those business owners to find out their concerns and what they would like to see take place?
It's really important to us to get feedback from business owners, especially those who are being affected right on the construction site as we move along into phase 2. So we've engaged business owners along phase 2 site. A few weeks ago we held 2 meetings that those business owners could attend to give us their concerns, suggest ways to us that would make it easier on them as we go along through this process, because, you know, it's their livelihood that these projects are affecting, and we want to be sure that they understand that, you know, they're just as involved in this process as the people planning it.
So this is a continual process. This is something, as we continue to go down Center Street and continue this project, we will meet with business owners.
Absolutely. We want to be completely transparent in the planning and, you know, how we go about conducting phase 2, and we want to make sure that they are kept in the loop the whole way through.
Wonderful. All right, well, that sounds great. Well, Meg, I'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's see how far along we are at that point. I'm hoping by that point we'll be just about complete with the whole project. And so then maybe we can talk with the business owners and get an idea from them how they feel at that point in time.
Certainly.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
If you have a comment or question about the Streetscape project, email us. We'd like to hear from you. Also, don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter, you can like us on Facebook, you can also watch city video clips on our YouTube channel. There are many opportunities for you to know what's happening in your city, so stay tuned with our Streetscape updates. We'll be back again in 2 weeks.